Invasion of the quantum mind, a race against time. The stars were just beginning to twinkle in the inky black expanse of space as Captain Rhea Black stepped out onto the observation deck of the star cruiser, the Demetra. She took in the breathtaking sight before her, a field of glittering lights that seemed to stretch on forever into the abyss. But Rhea wasn't here to stargaze. She had a mission, and she took it seriously. She turned to head back to the control room when she heard a distant beep coming from one of the ship's monitors. She paused, listening intently. The beeps grew faster and more urgent. Rhea walked over to the console and looked at the screen. Her heart raced as she realized what she was seeing. A massive, unknown object was hurtling towards the Demetra at an alarming speed. She switched to the ship's emergency broadcast channel to alert the crew. "All hands on deck. Brace for impact," she shouted. The Demetra shook violently as the object collided with the ship. The crew scrambled to their stations, trying to stabilize the ship and assess the damage. Rhea barked out orders, doing her best to keep everyone calm and on task. As they worked, Rhea caught a glimpse of the object that had attacked them. It was unlike anything she had ever seen, a shimmering blue mass that seemed to pulse with energy. She knew they had to act fast if they wanted to survive this encounter. She ordered a team to investigate the damage and try to identify the object. As they worked, Ray's mind raced with possibilities. Was this some kind of attack from an unknown enemy? Or was it something even more terrifying, a force beyond their comprehension? For hours they toiled, piecing together the evidence and trying to make sense of what had happened. Finally, they had their answer. The object that had attacked them was a quantum singularity, a tear in the fabric of space-time that threatened to destroy everything in its path. Rhea knew what they had to do next. They had to enter the singularity and find a way to stabilize it before it was too late. It would be a dangerous, potentially fatal mission, but there was no other way. She took a deep breath and turned to her crew. "We're going in," she said, determination shining in her eyes. Together, they prepared to cross the quantum frontier and face whatever lay beyond. The Demetra plunged into the singularity, the crew bracing themselves for what lay ahead. They found themselves in a strange and disorienting world, where the laws of physics no longer applied. The environment was made up of swirling clouds of energy, crackling with electricity, and pulsing with strange colors that seemed to shift before their eyes. Rhea took the lead, leading her team through the singularity, dodging the flickering tendrils of energy that lashed out at them. The ship's systems were strained to their limits, and the engines coughed and sputtered as they tried to keep up with the strange and unpredictable environment. As they pushed deeper into the singularity, they soon encountered a strange anomaly, a massive structure that seemed to be made up of countless twisting tendrils of energy. It pulsed with a strange, pulsing light that seemed to be alive. Rhea knew that they had to investigate this anomaly if they were going to have any chance of stabilizing the singularity. She ordered the ship to approach, and they began a slow and cautious approach. As they drew closer, the anomaly began to shift and contort, twisting around them. The ship shuddered as the tendrils of energy brushed against it, and Rhea gritted her teeth as she steered them deeper into the heart of the structure. Suddenly, everything went black. The ship's lights flickered and died, leaving them in absolute darkness. Ray's heart raced as she tried to assess the situation. "What the hell is going on?" she barked, as she struggled to get the power back online. That's when they saw it. A massive, shadowy figure was stalking through the ship's corridors, its silhouette illuminated by the faint glow of the singularity outside. The crew were frozen in terror, unsure of how to react. Rhea knew she had to act fast. She reached for her sidearm and aimed it at the shadowy figure. But before she could fire, the figure leapt towards her, attacking with lightning-fast speed. They fought for what felt like hours, dodging and weaving through the pitch-black corridors of the ship. Ray's heart pounded in her chest as she grappled with the shadowy creature, knowing that one mistake could mean certain death. Finally, they emerged back into the light of the singularity, where the creature was finally vanquished. They took a moment to catch their breath, realizing how close they had come to utter disaster. Rhea knew that they couldn't rest on their laurels. They still had to stabilize the singularity and get out of here alive. She led her crew deeper into the strange and unpredictable world, knowing that they may never make it out alive. The Demetra continued its journey through the singularity, the crew on edge as they navigated the unpredictable environment. They knew that they were racing against time, and the stakes had never been higher. As they pushed deeper into the singularity, they suddenly picked up a faint signal on their sensors. Rhea ordered the crew to trace the source, eager to investigate anything that could help them stabilize the singularity. The signal led them to the farthest reaches of the singularity, where they discovered a massive structure looming before them. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, a massive construct made up of twisted metal and pulsing energy. Rhea knew that they had to explore this structure if they were going to have any chance of stabilizing the singularity. She ordered the crew to ready themselves, and they made their way towards the structure. As they approached, they were awed by the sheer scale of the construct. It seemed to stretch on forever, its endless corridors and twisting tunnels leading who knew where. They cautiously made their way inside, the ship's lights casting an eerie glow on the walls around them. Rhea led the way, her heart racing as she tried to piece together the structure's purpose. As they pushed deeper into the structure, they began to uncover a series of logbooks and records. It soon became clear that this structure wasn't just some random anomaly, but rather the remains of an ancient civilization, one that had long since vanished. The crew were spellbound as they pored over the records, learning about the civilization's history, their technology, and their culture. Rhea felt a strange sense of awe and wonder as she realized the incredible significance of what they had discovered. But their excitement was short-lived. As they delved deeper into the structure, they soon discovered that it held a terrible and deadly secret. The civilization had been undone by their own hubris, unleashing a terrible force upon the singularity that had ultimately led to their downfall. Rhea knew that they had to act fast if they wanted to prevent history from repeating itself. They worked feverishly to uncover the secret behind the civilization's ultimate demise, piecing together clues and evidence. Finally, they had their answer. The civilization had used a powerful and dangerous technology to try and manipulate space-time, unleashing a force that had ultimately destroyed them. Rhea realized that they had to use this same technology if they wanted to stabilize the singularity and escape alive. She took a deep breath and turned to her crew. "We have to use their technology if we want to get out of here alive," she said, determination shining in her eyes. Together, they prepared to take the biggest risk of their lives, using the ancient technology to try and save themselves and the singularity. The Demetra's engines strained as they tried to power up the ancient technology that they had discovered. Rhea watched nervously as the singularity pulsated outside, knowing that they had to stabilize it fast if they wanted to get out of there alive. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the ship, and Rhea knew that something was wrong. She rushed to one of the monitors and saw a fleet of ships emerging from the singularity, their weapons trained on the Demetra. "What the hell is going on?" she shouted, barely believing what she was seeing. The ships closed in, unleashing a barrage of laser fire on the Demetra. Rhea and her crew scrambled to their stations, desperately trying to fend off the attack. But it was no use. The Demetra was severely damaged, and Rhea knew that they were outmatched. She ordered the crew to abandon ship, knowing that it was their only hope of survival. They fled in escape pods, watching in horror as the Demetra was destroyed in a blinding explosion of light. Rhea tried to quell her fear, knowing that they had to push forward if they wanted to survive. They landed on the nearby planet, their landing craft battered and beaten. Rhea and her team emerged, looking around at their new surroundings. They were in a sprawling metropolis, unlike anything they had ever seen before. But their awe was short-lived. They soon realized that they were not alone. The city was teeming with robotic creatures, their sensors trained on the invaders. Rhea paused, her heart racing as she realized who these mysterious beings were. They were the same civilization that had inhabited the construct they had explored earlier. And they didn't seem too happy about their arrival. Rhea realized that they had to act fast if they wanted to avoid a confrontation. They fled into the shadows, hiding from the robotic creatures that patrolled the streets. As they moved deeper into the city, they soon realized that they weren't the only ones taking refuge there. There were other survivors, people and creatures from distant worlds that had also found their way to this strange city. Rhea banded together with these survivors, fighting back against the robotic invaders that threatened their existence. Together, they launched a daring assault on the invaders, managing to take down their leader and weaken their forces. Rhea knew that they had to use the opportunity to escape the planet, while their attackers were vulnerable. They made their way to the nearest spaceship, fighting off the creatures that pursued them. As they soared away from the planet, Rhea felt a sense of relief and triumph. They had survived against all odds and had learned more about the ancient civilization that had inhabited this strange part of the universe. But there were still so many questions left unanswered, and she knew that their journey was far from over. As the survivors hurtled through space, Ray's mind raced with questions. What had they stumbled upon in their journey through the singularity? And who had been behind the invasion they had just narrowly escaped? Days turned into weeks, and the survivors found themselves drifting in the void, struggling to come up with a plan for their next steps. But Rhea remained focused, determined to uncover the truth behind everything they had witnessed. Their journey led them to a planet on the edge of known space, where they stumbled upon a research facility like nothing they had ever seen before. The facility was dedicated to studying the mysteries of the universe and was staffed by brilliant scientists and researchers. It was here that Rhea first heard the term, quantum mind. The scientists explained to her that the universe was not just made up of particles and energy, but also consciousness. They believed that the mind transcended the physical constraints of the body and existed in a state of pure energy. Rhea was fascinated by this theory. She began to study the science behind the concept, realizing that it could hold the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. She dove deep into the research, determined to understand the mysteries of the quantum mind. As she delved deeper, Rhea began to uncover dark secrets hidden within the research facility. There were whispers of a sinister organization operating in the shadows, exploiting the discoveries of the scientists for their own gain. Rhea knew that they had to act fast if they wanted to prevent disaster. She led her crew in a daring assault on the facility, fighting back against the shadowy organization that controlled it. After a long and difficult battle, they managed to infiltrate the organization and discover their true intentions. They were a cult, dedicated to unlocking the secrets of the quantum mind for their own dark purposes. Rhea realized that the stakes had never been higher. The cult was planning to use the power of the quantum mind to take over the universe, to mold reality to their own twisted desires. They had to be stopped. Working together, Rhea and her team devised a plan to infiltrate the cult's secret headquarters, a massive fortress hidden deep in the depths of space. Their journey was fraught with danger, as they fought their way through hordes of cult minions and overcame deadly traps and obstacles. But they pushed on, knowing that the fate of the universe hung in the balance. Finally, they reached the heart of the cult's operations. Rhea confronted the cult leader, a twisted and malevolent figure who was determined to reshape the universe in his own image. Their epic battle raged on as the fate of the universe hung in the balance. But in the end, Rhea emerged victorious, using the power of the quantum mind to defeat the cult leader and save the universe. As she looked out into the vast expanse of space, Rhea knew that their journey was far from over. But for a moment, she allowed herself to bask in the feeling of triumph, knowing that they had saved the universe from a fate worse than death. After their triumph over the cult, Rhea and her crew found themselves catapulted into the middle of a battle for the fate of the universe. The universe seemed to be in chaos, with dark forces battling for control at every turn. Rhea knew that they had to take action if they wanted to prevent the universe from falling into darkness. They spent long hours traveling through space, seeking out others who would join them in the fight. And then, they heard whispers of the most powerful force in the universe, a being known only as the Overmind. The Overmind held the key to ultimate power and was rumored to wield incredible control over the very fabric of the universe. Rhea knew that they could not face the Overmind alone. They needed allies, powerful beings who shared their determination to save the universe from the brink of destruction. And so, they began to rally to their cause. Massive armies of beings from countless worlds joined their fight, all eager to stop the Overmind and prevent the universe from spiraling into darkness. As their army swelled in size, Rhea and her team developed a daring plan to take on the Overmind. They traveled through dangerous territories, gathering intel and resources to aid them in their ultimate showdown. Finally, they arrived at the Overmind's stronghold, a massive fortress that seemed to stretch on for eternity. They braced themselves for the battle to come, knowing that the fate of the universe hung in the balance. The battle was fierce and intense, with both sides unleashing unimaginable power in their fight for control. Rhea and her team fought bravely, aided by their powerful allies and the strength of their convictions. But the Overmind was unlike anything they had ever faced before. It wielded a power that was beyond human comprehension, and they struggled, at first, to gain any ground. As the battle raged on, Rhea realized that they could not hope to defeat the Overmind with sheer force. They needed a new plan, one that took into account the Overmind's incredible power and their limitations as mere mortal beings. And then, it came to her. The key to defeating the Overmind was not through brute force, but rather through compassion and empathy. They had to connect with the Overmind on a deeper level, transcend their physical forms, and tap into the true power of the universe. Rhea closed her eyes, channeling all her energy and focus into the act of connection. She reached out to the Overmind, using the power of her mind and soul to connect with the very essence of the universe. Slowly but surely, the Overmind began to respond. Rhea felt something shift within the very fabric of reality, a shift that signaled a change in the universe itself. And then, it was over. The Overmind was defeated, its power shattered by Ray's incredible show of strength and willpower. The universe was saved, and Rhea and her team were hailed as the heroes who had saved it from certain destruction. As they made their way back to their ship, Rhea felt a sense of deep satisfaction and fulfillment. The journey had been long and perilous, but it had ultimately been worth it. They had saved the universe and proven that anything was possible with determination, focus, and a little bit of compassion. As the dust settled from their epic battle against the Overmind, Rhea and her crew found themselves in the midst of a new era for the universe. The dark forces that had raged across the vast expanse of space had been vanquished, and peace had once again returned to the galaxy. But the end of the conflict marked the start of a new chapter. Rhea and her team were hailed as heroes, their names and deeds celebrated throughout the universe. It was a heady time, with countless beings from every corner of the universe flocking to their banner, eager to join the cause of peace and unity. As Rhea and her team embarked on their new journey, they knew that they faced countless challenges and obstacles. The universe remained a dangerous and unpredictable place, with mysterious forces and ancient technologies lurking in the shadows. But they also knew that anything was possible with the right combination of skill, determination, and compassion. Together, they fought for a bright new future, a future in which all beings could live in harmony and cooperation. The crew of the Demetra became something of a legendary force in the universe. Stories of their exploits spread far and wide, inspiring countless other beings to take up the mantle of heroism. As they traveled from planet to planet, they were greeted with cheers and celebrations. They witnessed the rebuilding process as planets recovered from the devastation of the conflict, and they used their knowledge and expertise to help wherever they could. For Rhea, it was a bittersweet time. She felt a sense of deep satisfaction knowing that she had played a key role in saving the universe from destruction. But she also knew that there was still work to be done, that the battle for peace and unity was a never-ending process. The journey never really ended for Rhea and her crew. They continued to explore the universe, always searching for new secrets and discoveries. But they did so with a sense of purpose and resolve, knowing that everything they did was part of a larger mission to ensure that the universe remained a beacon of hope and possibility for all beings. In the years that followed, Rhea would look back on their journey with a sense of awe and wonder. She had seen things and done things that few beings could ever imagine, and she was grateful for every moment of it. For Rhea, the real victory wasn't just in saving the universe from certain destruction. It was in creating a universe that was worthy of being saved. A universe in which all beings had the chance to live, to explore, and to dream.